Hey everyone, my name is Meera. Welcome back to my channel. This is going to be part 2 of the Lock the Box sale unboxing. If you don't know what that is, or if you've not watched part 1 and you're new on my channel, then head to the link in the description box because in part 1 of the series, I talk about my experience shopping online and it'll give you a fair idea about what to expect. Even though I know what books I've bought, unboxing them is still very exciting because there's still some element of surprise since I've not seen these books before. So let's get started. Okay, first up, there are two bookmarks. A bookstore usually always sends bookmarks with all of their orders, whether it's Lock the Box or you just buying books from their website. The first book I see here in almost perfect condition is The Satapur Moonstone by Sujata Massey. This is an Indian historical fiction which is set in 1920s, and what's really exciting, at least what I find exciting about the book, is that it's based in the Sahyadri Mountains, which is home to the Satapur royal family. The royal family seems to be cursed because there's some misfortune that befalls them, and there's an ongoing dispute between the dowager queen and her daughter-in-law. So, as usual, Parveen Mystery, the protagonist, steps in to solve the issue and save the day. I really enjoyed reading the first book in this series because Parveen Mystery's character is so strong, and it's set in a historical time period, right? So, what we see of that time written through Sujata Massey's writing, it's really delightful. I can't wait to read this one. Next, John Steinbeck's Of Mice and Men. This is a classic novel which is about two friends and their dreams. When they go to work at a ranch, they see that their hopes begin to crumble in the face of reality. I've read The Pearl by John Steinbeck before, I don't know if you have, but despite how intimidated I was, it was a very smooth reading experience and I really liked the storytelling in The Pearl, especially the way the author explores certain themes, the sensitivity with which he approaches them. So I'm really eager to read this one. Then Brooklyn House Magician's Manual. This is a training manual of sorts. It is part of the Kane Chronicles and it features a lot of ancient Egyptian deities and creatures. It's structured in a really unique and fun way. It's not like your typical Greek mythology novel. And if you've not read Rick Riordan's books, then I highly recommend that you do because there's something of a rite of initiation for anyone who enjoys fantasy novels. I don't think I've come across anyone who's not picked up a single Rick Riordan book. They're that good. Like, the writing is witty and it's engaging, and I expect nothing less of this one. Whoa, okay. This is a ginormous tome, and I got a hardcover copy. Bring Up the Bodies by Hilary Mantel. It is the second book in the Thomas Cromwell series, and this is a sequel to Wolf Hall. So it's a historical fiction which is about Henry VIII and his wife Anne Boleyn. There's a lot of drama and conspiracy. I love such topics. I love such historical themes, and I really enjoyed watching Reign, the TV show, and so even books set around those time periods which cover the lives of kings and queens, they're quite exciting to me. I just hope that it's not really overwhelming in the historical information it explores. That's just one thing I'm a little nervous about, but it's a really good copy. Wait, let's just check what the hardcover is like. Okay, it's a classic black hardcover, but it has really nice end pages. Okay. Next is another hardcover. Oh my god, this is getting so much fun. The Confessions of Rani Langton by Sarah Collins. This is a historical fiction mystery in which a servant, who is also a former slave, gets accused of killing her employer and his wife. It reminds me a little bit of Alias Grace by Margaret Atwood because they both have a similar premise. It is alternatively set at a Jamaican sugar plantation and in Georgian London, both of which make for very interesting settings for the book. I've heard that it represents LGBTQ characters and even has gothic themes in it, which just add to my excitement to pick it up. Uh, the book is in perfect condition. I don't think it's been used. The hardcover is also really pretty. Next, Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell. I was introduced to Gaskell's works through North and South, so now I'm just on a mission to pick up everything she's written. This is a classic novel, as you can very well see. It's a commentary on English society. The main character, Molly, was raised by her father. When he remarries, she gets a stepsister, and it's about their story, how the two of them grow up together, how they perhaps form a bond, and set during a time when conventions and social norms were different. I'm interested to see how both of their characters pan out and what really, like, what's the direction of the story. This too is in an almost non-used condition. There are no wrinkles, no tears, no other signs of use. And then there's Halloween Party by Agatha Christie. Christie's works don't really need an introduction. She's like the queen of mystery and crime. In this book, we read about a teenager who is witness to a murder. But when she tells people about it, nobody really believes her until the time when she herself is found murdered. So that's the whole plot surrounding the mystery. And then Hercule Poirot is the one who's leading the investigation, so it's up to him to figure out whether the culprit, the murderer, is the same in both of these cases or not. There's a little bit of yellowing in these pages, but they smell so good. That's what the pages look like. Oh, there's a slight tear in the spine, but that's okay. This book now has a home and it's going to be loved. The next book is The God of Small Things by Arundhati Roy. I finally have this book. I feel like I've been eyeing it for centuries now. This is set in Kerala, which is where I'm from, during the late 1960s. It's about twins and how one day when their cousin comes to visit them during Christmas, their life becomes a little complex. The synopsis of this book is written in a very unconventional and quirky way on Goodreads, which definitely added to my intrigue, but I've heard that it's a heartbreaking book. Ayushi from Pen and Papers, if you're on Bookstagram, you would know who that is. She recently read this book and I've seen her Insta stories. So I'm a little tiny bit nervous getting into it, but I've been putting off reading this book for far too long. And now there's simply no excuse. The Young and the Restless by Gurmeher Kaur. This is a non-fiction book which follows the topic of youth in politics. Gurmeher Kaur interviews a few political figures, and so this book gives you insight into their perspectives, certain anecdotes from their lives, and if you know me, you know that I don't really pick up books with politics as a theme in it, and certainly not non-fiction ones. But this book made me feel like I really should read it, and that it should be something that I become a little bit more informed about. Moreover, Gurmeher Kaur's written this. I really loved her first book, Small Acts of Freedom, and that blew me away. So there was no chance that I was gonna miss out on this one. This book is actually not in perfect condition. The cover is ripped and the pages are all folded. Did someone do this deliberately? Like time pass sitting and folding pages? Okay, it needs a little bit of fixing. We can do that. And then there's The Haunted House by Charles Dickens. This is a classic novel which is a collection of supernatural stories. Let's see how many there are. There are 8 stories, and Elizabeth Gaskell features here too, alongside Wilkie Collins and a few other writers. I've read that there's a hint of comedy in Charles Dickens' stories, so that's going to be interesting. It has topics like deserted homes, which really reminds me of Halloween. This book is in great condition. It is the One World Classics edition, so it has a few photos in the beginning. The Legend of Virinara by Usha Alexander. This is an Indian historical fiction set in the year 120 CE, when the capital of Virinara is attacked by some bandits, I believe. the ruler's sister plays a championing role in alleviating the kingdom's distress. So I don't know if that theme has a dominant presence in the entire book, but strong female characters in historical fictions is something I will never pass up on. And like, if you watch the previous video, you would know that I really like these kinds of books. Indian historical fictions about historical figures and various incidents that happened in the past. Sign me up. Yes, The Republic of Thieves by Scott Lynch. This is the third book in the Gentleman Bastard series, which is an epic fantasy series. The first book, The Lies of Locke Lamora, was one of my top 10 favorite books of 2020, and I am so pumped to read this because it's very heartening. The characters, their adventure, like, you will lose yourself to the story. It is mesmerizing, and I really like the way Scott Lynch builds on the worlds that he creates, and you know, makes the characters more and more involved in the plot. If you're looking for high fantasy, epic fantasy, I don't know if I'd recommend anything other than this one. And then, yes, I picked up a graphic novel, and The Ocean Was Our Sky by Patrick Ness. This is YA fantasy, and I've not read any of Patrick Ness' works before, but the plot of this book is really interesting. There's a war going on between whales and men, and Bathsheba's whales attack a ship, and they encounter a monster on it, something from a myth. There's also some kind of a vengeful hunt. That was enough. That's all I needed to know that I wanted to pick it up. The artwork. It's all haunting and full of very intricate line work. Okay, going to cherish this one. I really hope the story is also wonderful. A Midsummer Night's Dream by William Shakespeare. This is yet another of Shakespeare's plays. This one, I believe, has a love triangle in it, but not a love triangle. We're just so conditioned to saying love triangle that even though I've realized it's not technically true, I keep referring to it as that. Okay, this one has a love way between three characters, Demetrius, Lysander, and Hermia. A few of these, someone here in this love way likes another, but they don't like them back. And there's a lot of that going on in the book. But there's a lot of patriarchal themes as well, about how Hermia likes one of these two guys, but then her father wants someone else to be her husband, and so on and so forth. I do realize now that I am picking up a lot of Shakespeare's plays. Don't really know when I'm gonna get to that, but then again, that's the verdict for every book I buy. So, what am I complaining about? On the Come Up by Angie Thomas. This will be my first book by Angie Thomas. I don't know how I've escaped the internet hype, and I've not read The Hate U Give till now. This is a YA contemporary novel which is about a 16-year-old girl who wants to become a rapper. Her family's financial condition is not that great, which adds further pressure on her to succeed. I've heard that the story and the topics that it deals with are heavily inspired by hip-hop culture, and after all the reviews that I've read for The Hate U Give and even other works by Angie Thomas, then I'm really excited to pick this one up, even if it ends up becoming a heart-rending and a tear-jerking novel. I feel like Angie Thomas books tend to have that quality about them, that they deliver a strong message, packs a punch, and they're also tear-jerking novel because of how heartening and how soulful the stories are. The next book is Us Against You by Frederick Bachman. This is the second book in the Beartown series. I also got Beartown quite recently, so I'm planning to binge read both of this together. It's about a small town wherein the hockey team, which holds a lot of importance, suddenly gets disbanded, and how there's a lot of rivalry between other hockey teams. I don't have a lot of experience reading books wherein sports teams play a lot of importance, but again, this is a translated title, and I've heard great things about Bachman's writing, so I trust that this will be a fun read. I'm not a fan of the condition that this book cover is in. But then again, what can you expect? Like, I'm getting all of these for a steal deal. Plus, it's an online sale. The second to last book in this box is Heroes by Stephen Fry. This is the second book in the Greek mythology series by the author. I think it follows Mythos. Mythos is the first book. It's a non-fiction book in which Stephen Fry retells the tales of popular Greek mythology figures. Like, you read about Jason and Oedipus, and all of these characters are ones that I had earlier encountered, and I mean for the first time, through Rick Riordan's writings. And the last book in this box is Oryx and Crake by Margaret Atwood. This is the first book in the Mad Adam trilogy. It's a science fiction dystopian novel with elements of post-apocalypse. There's some kind of a plague that goes around which wreaks havoc on Earth. So this book is told from the perspective of a person called Snowman, who is probably the last person on Earth. He is mourning the loss of his loved ones. That compels him to embark on a journey through wilderness to seek answers to questions that have been plaguing him. As you would know by now, Margaret Atwood's books are on my auto-buy list, and luckily during the sale I got quite a few of them, so I got as many of those I could. Moreover, dystopian novels are ones that I really enjoy. It's a genre that's up there in my favorite genres list. And with that, we have come to the end of the second unboxing video. Now it's time for me to clean all of these books and place them very lovingly amidst all of these other books. I'm really glad that these videos are helping some of you get to know what the Lock the Box experience is like. If there are any specific videos that you want to see on my channel, then please do let me know through the comments. That's it for this video. Thank you so much for all your love and support. I will see you again soon. Bye!